Hi, everybody. Welcome to day 16. Wow, getting closer. 9 days to go. Anyway, what you see before you are canvas panel boards. And it says stretched canvas. It's not stretched. I'll show you the difference. Do you see that thin brown? That's a board. Do you see that backing? That is not canvas. This is canvas. And it's glued on and says primed with acrylic gesso. Well, this is the condition they came in. They're warped. And so they're not for the best paintings you ever want to put out, I'll tell you. But they are here for the purpose of self-use. And the paint that I'm going to apply to these is going to make them warp anyway. There are different sizes and shapes in this package. And they did not put all the flat panels together. As you can tell, they set this on top of the smaller, and so that caused a huge warpage. So as I said, these are going to be for self-use only. Now I have several paints and I'll line them up for you just a moment. Okay, so what you see before you are actually, these are craft paints. This is a craft paint, and this is basically kind of a student edition of Amsterdam paints. They are all acrylics, and what I have here is Sargent Art. It's non-toxic, permanent finish, water reducible. That means you can thin it out with water. Sargent products are made in the USA. This is Deco Art Extreme Sheen by Plaid. And Plaid is the mother company of all of these. And so they're pretty much primarily made with the same ingredients of things. And I was just saying, it says made in the USA because Plaid is based in the USA. Now, Amsterdam, oh, as you see, red and blue. This is Extreme Sheen, and it is 24K gold. And it is a metallic. Then we have, in the Amsterdam ones, this is emerald green, and this one is light gold. Now, these three are definite being used in the painting that I'm going to be doing, but I was trying to determine which of the two golds I would prefer to use, and I do like the idea of the metallic. So I'm going to use the metallic. I'm going to set these aside, and then I'm going to show you what else I'll be using. Now, the base that I'm putting down will be the blue. On top of that will end up being red and green, and on top of some of that will be a gold. However, there will also be, I'm trying to find them here, a red and green interference powders. Now, these here, they're sold for going, they're mica powders. They're sold for going into things like, resin. However, did you know you can make your own paint? You use some varnish that dries clear. Now, varnish, you're going to want the glossy if you're using the interferences. I don't have any, unfortunately. I prefer a satin finish all the time. So I'm not sure how it's going to work out, but I'll show you how to mix these. I have some little cups here. Okay, I've already got a red. I threw the green one out because I already used it. So we're going to put green in this one. It won't be marked. I don't need a lot of this mixed up. So you take your varnish. And I would need so little of this because I'm doing such a small painting. I am going to take approximately that much right there. So, less than a mil. I will do the same for the green. Oh, yeah. And then, of course, get this closed back up. Never leave these open. They will dry, form a skin first. So if you accidentally do that, you can peel the skin right back off. But don't do it too often. And now, what we do is I find my little spoon that I use for these powders. I know it's here. I really do. I just haven't put everything away from the last team haul yet and stacked it up where I shouldn't have. But that's me. All right. So this little itty bitty spoon here. And as I said, I don't need much. So that little spoon, I do want it to be prominent when I use it. So I'm going to put that much in. And yes, of course, I lost some on the plastic here. I need to set my paint station back up again so I can truly paint. Okay, let's set that aside and clean the little spoon off. Wipe up any powder. You don't want to transfer it. So let's see if I can tap this powder down into there. There we go. Depth perception. I'm sorry, guys. It's not very good. So I make boo-boos and goofs. Okay, I'm going to set that there for a moment. And we're going to go ahead and get to the green. But, of course, I have to first dry off the spoon. That should do it. I'll do the same with this one. That should do it. If I can make sure it gets in there. And, of course, clean the spoon off from that one. Get any left over here. Get a couple of sticks to stir with. Now these will dry out quickly because now they have a powder in them. You want to mix it up very well. You want to test your viscosity, which is how thick your paint is. And so that is quite thick, which will not suit my purposes. So therefore, you grab a hold of some filtered water. It doesn't matter if it's filtered or, oh my gosh, distilled. If you have a good filtration system, you just put just a few drops in. Stir that up and see what you got. Only a few drops in at a time, because you cannot take it out once it's in. You would just have to add more of the other products. And then you'd be working back and forth forever, and you end up with about 500 gallons of paint you don't want. That's a little bit better. However, it needs to be a little bit more fluid for me. For today's purpose. Now, what the purpose of the oh my gosh, the varnish is for, it's a binder. It's a polymer style binder. And so that binds the paint or the mica to it. And you don't want to thin it out too much, because then you break the binding properties. And it'll separate later on and crack and all that stuff. Well, that's a lot better. Okay, so now we set that one aside. Get this one mixed. And now we want the same viscosity as that one over there. And I still may have to thin that one down just a little bit as well. But you want them consistent, so that the viscosity of this one matches the viscosity of that one. I know you hear a lot of people that paint using that term consistency when they're just mixing a paint. No, the proper term is viscosity, which means, like I said, thickness or thinness of the paint and how it flows. Consistency is when you have many paints at that same viscosity. And this is not an exact, you just understand. For some powders, they react differently. Your different varnishes, brands, and purposes of those varnishes will react differently. The one I'm using right now is made by Belair. Okay, it needs to be more fluid. All right, now to test the other one against that one. This one still looks thicker. Yes, it is. And remember, only a few drops at a time, 1 or 2, if you're making small batches, etc. Okay, I have those to where they are consistent with one another. Now I have to mix up the other paints. And what I'll do is I'll put you on a small amount of fast forward for this, because, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my very own mixture. The recipe's on this side over here, and I could show you, but the reason why I don't show it out anymore is I used to. I really did. I used to. And then someone stole it and made it theirs. And I had to call them out on it, and I had to show proof, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, because they were making money off of it. I never intended to make money off of it. I could have, but, you know, some people are just unscrupulous. Okay, so we have 4 colors. that I need to mix. And so I'm going to go ahead and put you on time lapse, and we'll get to the rest of this. As I said, I don't need much paint except for the blue because it has to cover this entire piece. I hope I'm trying to speak slow enough here so that when this is sped up, you'll be able to hear clearly. Now, I use a little bit extra of these cheaper paints because they're less pigmented. And I could use it as it is, but I do not do that. I put some of, just get it open. I put some of my mix in. And my mix goes for all different types of paints. Now I'm not going to mix the other paints just yet. Instead, I'm going to cover the board. If I'm pausing on talking, it's because I have hiccups again. Okay. It's a little thick because I need it that way for this purpose. So let's try to protect my turntable a little bit. Okay, all I'm doing right now is waiting for this to dry. So I'll be back and then we'll mix the other 3 paints and begin. Well, the second leg of this. Sorry about that. My husband just texted me. I asked him about lunch, but he's still drilling pilot holes and things like that, and he's got a lot to do. He sent me a picture of it. Let me see if I can show you that. That's what he's doing. A lot of lumber there. And that's, I believe he said he was making enough for 40 toolkits or toolboxes. So, yeah, he's been quite busy at it today. All right, I'll be back as soon as that's dry. All right, I had to take a small break and come back. And so I'm just checking my 2 paints I've already made and adding as necessary, and a little bit of water as necessary. Some evaporation happened. All right, as you already see and saw, I have my base coat of blue. It's thoroughly dry now. I did notice that it's either the canvas board or the paint itself, but there are splotchy areas, which is okay because this is going to be a winter scene anyway. All right, we're good there. And now we have to make the green. Not much of green needed. Wow. You can tell this one has not been used in a while. So we're just going to wipe this area off. And yes, I keep them always upside down. Oh, look at that. I got green. Okay. Now the rest of this will not be done with paintbrush. See if I can get the rest of this paint off me so I'm not transferring. Okay. Now I want these to be slightly runny, so I will put some of my stuff in. Oops, forgot to shake. Okay. And yes, this is going to be a paint pour from here on out. And I'm going to do this step by step. Need some water. Put 6 drops in. Let's see if that does it for me. And these will be different viscosities for different purposes. Put 4 more in. A little bit more. Don't want to put too much so we don't break the binding process. All right, that's where I need it to be. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a drop here. here, here, and here. Okay, I'm going to move these two out of the way because I have a turntable under here that I brought for just that purpose, turning. So I'll move these out of the way, and I'm just going to grab a straw. I have a flexi straw, and now paint is kind of like resin. It does what it wants to do sometimes, most of the time. Ha! Oops, and then I stick it down in there. I may have to use the stick to help guide this. Boy, oh boy. So let's do a little bit of stick painting instead. Oh, and of course I have a hair in there. We'll get rid of that real quick. So we're just going to take our stick and try to guide this just a little bit, but it's not going to work out too well because I am on a dry surface. So let's put some more paint in here. It almost looks like a pineapple. Oh, my nose is itching. Oh, look, a blob walking. Ha ha ha. And no, this is not turning out anything like in my mind. My mind has worked anyway, so I'm just going to go with it. Okay, I'll add a little bit more to this one. Get rid of some of that blue. I have Cat being a little witch. Duchess does not like those kittens at all. She does not want to work with them. And so she gives everybody problems. All right, I'm going to try spinning, and I doubt it's going to go very well because of all this on here. So we are going to lift this. And now we'll try spinning. I definitely have to get a better spinner that's lower to the ground. Okay, we're just going to go with that. Okay, now we're going to mix the red. Oops, nope. Hold on. I forgot what I was doing already. Okay, now this is much thinner. Okay. Gonna spin again. There it starts in. Wow, no, shoot. Hold on. I got red pouring out everywhere. Wow, I am just so spectacular tonight. Well, look at that. I got it on my fingers. I recovered the green one. And this green one. Yes, you are supposed to adhere this down a little bit, but it is what it is for me. Okay, I think I still have enough red left. And we're going to go with a little bit of more liquidy. Okay, let me clear the top of this. Okay. I won't need any more red, so I'm putting that away. It helps if you take that cap off the lid. And then I'll have but one color left to go. Now I know that looks pink, but when it dries, it'll be red again. See how thin out this is? Not thin enough. Huh. And a little bit thinner. All right, let me grab my green stick here. I think that's the green one. Yes, okay. So we're just going to take a little bit of this that way, a little bit of this that way, and that way. Wait, I think I was using the red stick. I was. A little bit of manipulation. All right, that'll be good enough for that. And now I'm going to need a flow base of some sort. So I'm going to use some of the Varathane again. And we're just going to pour a little bit in the middle, a little bit right here, and here. And let's see where we go. And this is where we're just going to put a little blobs here. Guess it's going to come out off the stick instead of out of the cup. Okay. Now, this is where I need the straw back, and I don't know where it flew off to. Oh, it's because it's right here in front of my face. There we go. Let's get a little bit more red right here in the middle. Ah, need lungs for this, folks. Okay, almost there. All right, now comes the spin again. Let's see how bad we can get this one. I'm going to move these cups out of the way this time completely. And before I do, though, I did lose quite a bit of my red, so I'm going to augment it a little bit here. Well, the red ghost paints. And we're just going to kind of drizzle it on. Yeah, it's still a little thicker than it should be, but I'm going with it. All right, ghost paints are done. So what I'm going to do now is do some more blowing first. Okay. Oh, I'm going to lose my voice. Anyway, this is going to be a really big mess because I'm going to spin this kind of hard. And you're going to laugh and laugh and laugh. I usually do. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm so afraid of it launching again. Okay, I'm going to edge this off the side here. Sorry, everyone. All right, well. There we go. Now I'm getting some of it to come off. I'm getting it all to come off. All right, let's see where I'm sitting at here. Okay, what I'm going to do is one other little fun thing I like to do. And get it to come down. There we go. Oh, for Pete's sake. I need a straw that... I need my little blower. There we go. Just had to get meaner with it. This is a very warped poinsettia, by the way. Okay, last color coming up. It is, of course, the gold. Now, this will be kind of painted on. truly do not need much of this at all. Don't know if you can tell how much is there, but very, 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 very small amount. Okay, let me grab a stick. Well, let's just use this one. I'm only putting a small squirt of this in. And now we're going to put a lot of water. Not too much, but, you know, I'm breaking the barrier. And metallics are a lot harder to mix in. Better take it off the side there before it splashes onto it, because I know it will. And onto me. I wear more of my products than you would believe. Okay, I definitely need a little bit more paint because I did make it way, way too thin. Okay, so let's just wipe it off that way. See, sometimes I forget to wipe these things when I'm in a hurry, which I am right now. That's getting a little bit better. All right. Kind of looks a mess, doesn't it? With all that varnish in there and everything all over the place. So we'll see what it looks like when it dries. Okay, also a little bit of painting going on. I'll get it on there first so that a very screwy poinsettia. Okay. Some are blending together, unfortunately, but you know, it is what it is, what it is. Give this one just a little bit more. Okay. Well, that's that until it dries. So I shall return. All right. It is not completely dry, but you get the gist of it. It is supposed to be a poinsettia, but, well, you know, it's artistic license. The gold did bleed in a little bit, and the ghost paints didn't come up as well as I wanted because they were left too thick on there, and it wasn't that dark of a background, so I won't consider this a fail. I'll just consider it a learning experience that next time I need to practice some more, and well, you get to see, you know, the successes and the not so successful. But anyway, day 16 done, and I do appreciate everybody that watches. If you get a giggle out of this, more power to you, because I'm getting a good giggle out of it. It's not a masterpiece, I'll grant that. But anyway, thanks all for watching. You know the drill. Thank you to everybody that has joined recently, and thank you to all those who watch. I appreciate it very much. And of course, reach out to me in the comments. Love you all. Peace out.